All right, thank you for your time as you are listening to the previous presentation. So far we had the first presentation, and then parts 1 here, which is on a portion to the first, and a recap of that one here. Then there's also part 2. So, and this final presentation is a continuation of the part 2. So in part 2, we actually stopped close to the tips for teacher to protect themselves as school employee. So it's important for teachers to read the AUP. They should also attend training as well. They should follow the content of the document, and like I've mentioned in the previous videos, that is important for them to give quizzes on it, and they can teach students about it if they don't understand it. So they need to attend training, participate in discussions, and training on acceptable use. Okay, and it's also important for students to discuss the need for safety and privacy, to take cognizance of specific discussions like cyberbullying and copyright. Okay. So this leads us to tips and recommendations for schools, employers, or organizations. Okay. So this recommendation, it's important for school to always have town hall meetings with all stakeholders. There should be it's all about continuous improvement. So there should be continuous training, meetings, and meet of state of the mind meeting as regard acceptable use standard, IT security as a whole, just to conscientize on the stakeholders and the community. They should also have focus on points, okay, like there could be on-demand training to educate the community on the policy as well. And there should be access to technology resources. This should be a privilege, and this should be communicated to the community as well. There should be committee. I have this in my recommendation as well to Bowie State. Okay, there should be a committee and mentorship program that will promote positive usage of IT on campus. Also, those who use the IT infrastructure positively, should be rewarded. It's okay to have sanctions as well, but we should also encourage positive behavior. Okay, so we should conscientize the users, the student, the community as a whole. These are important recommendations for administrator, university, colleges, school system, organizations, to put into consideration as regards IT policy as a whole, and specifically acceptable use policy. And recommendation for students. Yes, students, it's important for students to read the AUP, and this for student reading it is interwoven with the tips are provided to teachers. Teachers should incorporate AUP and cyber security or IT security discussion into their curriculum, so that encourage students to read it. We know we're dealing with 21st century learners who are on-the-go learners. So those policies as well should be made compatible with mobile devices so students can read it on the go. It's important for students to sign the agreement form as well, and they should attend discussions and committee training on acceptable use, as it's important for them also not to keep quiet. If they spot, they should be whistleblowers. If they spot any inappropriate use of IT resources, student place should report this as soon as possible, and be on the lookout as well for inappropriate use of IT technology. First, and also very important, is students staying conscientized, okay, attending trainings, discussions, meeting on positive use of IT infrastructure. Okay, and so that the references are here. Okay, these are the source of the information and the discussion about acceptable use generally, and Bowie State University acceptable use. I'd mentioned to us where to locate Bowie State University policy in the previous videos, but I also want to show it in this video. So to locate the policy, just go to bowiestate.edu. Once again, bowiestate.edu. That's the domain name and URL for Bowie State Policy. So all you have to do, go to about this course and their offices and services, and here you locate the IT department. Then you can find the IT policy section, or do a quick search for acceptable use policy. And these are all the policies on IT security, and this is a specific policy on acceptable use. So I have it open here. So regarding the limitation, which we've discussed earlier, and we've gone over this policy earlier, you can see there's no link between the IT acceptable use policies and this other IT security policy. So that's a great omission, which I've also provided in my recommendations to the administrator as well. The acceptable use policy did not also make mention of all these robust IT security policies. Okay, so when you search as well, you can also locate some more IT security policies. All of them are located on Bowie website. And you see the IT security policies still talking about the USM standard of 2014, but it's no longer, I want to take it so you can show you, it's no longer the standard of 2014, it's 2016. So, and these are recommendations to the administrator. It's obvious we need to review the policy. All right. I'm grateful for your time. Thank you for listening. Before I go into the question session, I want to give a recap real quick about the presentation. So AUP presentation has part 1, and there's part 1A, which is a continuation of the part 1. Because I used screencast, so it couldn't record all at a stretch. And then there's a recap of that part 1. And then go to, there's part 2. All these links are available. And currently we're using part 3. So the current presentation is on part 3. So once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching video on Bowie State acceptable use policy specifically, and on acceptable use policy generally. So next step is on the critique on acceptable use policy. And once again, thank you. And any question, you can send your question to me via email TOLU.Oladipo@yahoo.com. Once again, thank you. Bye.